The Wild Party. That's right, folks. We are exiting the dino summer. Right at the height of summer, too. I don't know why I timed it out that way. That's just how movies work. Let's go back to some traditional classic movie fun. A big old orgy. Yeah, that's what we're going into this time around. I had a couple other films lined up that I thought we would talk about, but sometimes you get in that headspace where you're like, do I want to watch the film I'm doing for work, or do I just want to put something on that I either never seen before or is just going to relax me? I went for something I didn't think I was going to talk about. So when I'm scrolling through a streaming service, this whole film came up and I'm like, hey, I don't know what this is. James Coco, that's interesting. Let's see what this is about. So I put this on. And I wasn't planning on talking about The Wild Party, but the more I watched it, the more I'm like, oh, I guess we have to talk about this thing. So, The Wild Party is a film from 1975. It is based off of a Joesph March poem. So if you are a fan of his, you might be familiar with his the Wild Party poem. What if like Hollywood was insane? Anyways, this is James Coco led. Raquel Welch is the supporting. It's Babylon. Do you remember the Damien Chazelle movie Babylon from a couple years ago? It's just that, but maybe loosely sort of about Fatty Arbuckle. This movie was crazy, and man, it just kind of came out of nowhere and surprised me. I'm not saying it's great. It is pretty messy and on the nose in a lot of the things it's saying, but again, if you're just going off of a poem, how in the weeds you getting aside from the poem? I'm guessing the poem's got more depth to it. But whatever. Are you a fan of the silent era of movies? Because this takes place in Hollywood in 1920s. And we are following our lead guy here, James Coco. I love this guy. He's done one other movie I think I've seen, which is Elaine May's A New Leaf. That's the only other thing I can remember seeing him in. But he just looks like a guy we would never let lead a movie other than this instant, you know? He's like Bob Hoskins and Jason Alexander, like the prototype of those guys. Like he's balding, he's big, he's got a voice and range, and we're just like, we can't find space for this yet. So what if you play Jolly Grim, which is a great stage name. I think that's hilarious. He's a Fatty Arbuckle type. He makes silent pictures. He used to be really funny. People really liked him. And as the transition to talkie started to take place and the new regime was coming in, he stopped being the most relevant guy in the room. And when you look like that and all you have is your humor and no one thinks you're funny anymore, you fall into some bad habits. This whole movie is about him making a party, starting up a party, which is just an excuse to show off the new feature that he self-funded. He made an independent feature. He wants to get backing to release it by a big studio. So it's him trying to organize a party so all his friends can come by and watch it, and the big movie producers that are there are going to want to pick it up. Pretty obvious setup there, but I think it works for the most part. This is a pretty self-aware character, and having never read the poem, nor do I plan on reading the poem, I wonder if there's any inkling of this character being self-aware of himself. He knows every single part of his life that's falling apart, and he's like, okay, I need help here. I'm not getting it. I'm a fat guy. Stop dressing me like I'm not fat. I don't know why my girlfriend likes me, but I'm doing my best to keep her around, and I think she's going to realize I'm not the best catch anymore because I'm not funny anymore. It's kind of sad, but I respect it for just having the gumption to be like, this just happens. Like, this is a changing era. Like, a studio is being built off the backs of people making weird movies. It's a changing time, and I just love that era. I think it's so interesting. And I'm not going to make any more Fatty Arbuckle comparisons because it kind of stops there if you know what happens to him and that kind of stuff. Just more or less, this is a guy that had it all and lost it and thinks he can get it back. It's a really fun character, really interesting. I should point out, too, that this is a very early film from the duo of Merchant and Ivory. James Ivory directs this one. You might know them for their later films where it's more like grandiose and sweeping epics and stuff, but this is just simple. We're filming in one location practically because it's a poem. It could be a stage play. A really insane looking house. I couldn't get over how weird this house looked. Big curtains everywhere. We used to have really high ceilings back in like the 20s, I guess. And you just put stuff there. You just had big curtains everywhere and just crap lying around. I feel like homes have gotten more small, but that's a conversation we can't get into now because we could be here all day. Anyways, Jolly Grim is dating Queenie. Queenie is played by Raquel Welch, and we've talked about her a couple times on Movie Tales already. Beautiful lady, talented to no end. This comes in a very interesting period for her because it is post the work she did in like The Musketeers, and I think it's also post like 10 million BC. So we're seeing a different era of Raquel Welch. And from what I saw, she was very temperamental on set because she wanted to try to do something a more dramatic and progressive for her. And there was people behind the scenes and actors on screen that didn't like what she was doing. I respect her a lot for like helping people get certain jobs in this thing because I guess she did like a lot of behind the scenes work to get like people she knows hired. I like her so much, and I'm not upset that she went for a dramatic turn. I just think in like today's sensibility, there's no other comparison where you're like, oh man, is this actress going to be capable of doing something serious? I don't know. Very interesting. I guess it would be the modern day equivalent might be if Sydney Sweeney suddenly gave us an Oscar worthy performance, but this is also not an Oscar worthy performance. She's a beautiful girl. She has like this friend. I guess it's like a friend of both Jolly and hers. His name is James. He narrates the movie, and it's so bizarre because at one point James actually like talks to the camera. It's only like once or twice he does this, and I don't know why. I know it's because he's narrating and he's supposed to be like the voice of the poem, but it's a really weird choice. And he sees the way that Jolly treats Queenie, and he's like, you gotta leave this guy. He's not good for you. He's not gonna help you. But she can't quit him. You know, that's love or something. So Jolly tries to get her to set up everything for the party, and she's just like, I'm trying and it doesn't work, so he hits her. It's really weird stuff. Jolly also has this weird friend named Tex, and I only bring him up because that is an interesting looking man. I think it's Royal Dano is who plays him. Very lanky, very cowboy adjacent. Just like we're getting close to this guy being a movie star. Like a couple more decades and we're going to have a million of these looking guys on screen. I don't know why I bring it up. It's just interesting. So where the movie goes from here is the party happens. And a couple of things happen in this party that is worth noting. First off, a lot of movie producers can't make it. You know, no one's going to be able to get there to see the party. So the people that do show up are like, you promised me young women to play with and stuff. It's old Hollywood. We talked about Babylon on this channel. We've talked about a million other movies from this era. This is how it went. You just got a bunch of people in a room. They were horny and on drugs and on a lot of alcohol and just screwing around with whoever was near them. So they screen the movie. We actually see the movie within the movie. It's this silent film comedy about Brother Jasper, who's like a priest or something, and he's visited by some spirits who try to tell him to do the right thing. Very simple story, but I get it. It actually leads to something I find very interesting about like actual making of films and stuff. There's a sequence that we see for like the Brother Jasper film where he's being hunted by cannibals, and you could have easily had the characters. I know it's the 70s, but maybe we were still progressive then. You could have had James, who's like watching the footage, be like, I don't know if this plays culturally today, being like in the 70s, we wouldn't depict Native Americans or natives in this way or any tribal people this way. But instead, it is something I find interesting. It's different than doing like the racial stuff. It's like you have a really tight movie here, and this sequence kind of like goes a little too slapstick for what modern audiences are looking for, which is still really smart. You could have played with the racial stuff a little bit more, but that also works for me. It's the 70s, and it's a movie set in the 20s. They're not really thinking about cultural depictions that way. So nonetheless, they show the picture. No one's really buying it. They're like, 82 minutes. Oof, this is a long one. And the night just rolls on. You know, Jolly's not getting funding for his movie. No one's really like biting at it, trying to take it down. So people just get hornier, and then shit just happens. Queenie's friend shows up with her new date. This guy is named Dale. He's the new hotness. He starred in like a new picture, and he's a really cool guy. And he's like, oh my goodness, that woman looks like Raquel Welch. I gotta get with her right now. So that's the subplot of Queenie and Dale hooking up behind everyone's back. Meanwhile, as nobody is going to like help Jolly get his movie out to screens, a young woman who is maybe aged 15 to 17 shows up. She could be younger. Ugh. And she just meets Jolly randomly, like, hey, I hitchhike here because my sister's here, and she said I could like do a dance for you guys and maybe you'll put me in a movie. And he's like, I don't have time for your stupid tricks, girl. I don't want to be around you. So just keep in mind that as everything is going on in the rest of this movie, there's a child nearby. So there's a couple of bits where Jolly's like, you want a gangster film? I got an idea for a gangster film. And he like acts out a scene from a gangster stuff. But it's just people talking around like a changing Hollywood and how fake love is and nothing's truly happy, which I guess is real Hollywood. So some notable things happen as we get closer to the end here. An orgy takes place. I'm not going to show you any footage from the orgy. Just know that I would say, for the most part, they do a really good job of depicting equal opportunity nudism in this movie. There are some girls making out that are topless. There's some boys making out that are topless. You gotta respect it for that. I'm not saying it's great, like it's filmed as good as you could, and it doesn't look sexy. It's trying to be like more avant-garde of like really dark lighting, and you're just like seeing the bodies together. Doesn't really work, but it's an orgy. That is the point of the poem. That is the point of this era of Hollywood. Every party just turns into people going into a room and making out. This child sees her sister in the middle of a group of people. Moving on from there. Dale is still trying to get with Queenie, but she's saying, no, it's not like that. I still really like Jolly. Things are going good for us for the most part, so I'm not going to break my time with you. She's pretty loyal to him for some really like disgusting grooming reasons, and I don't really like that. You know what? I guess another comparison for the thing that Raquel Welch is doing here would be when Mary Tyler Moore did Ordinary People, where you're like, oh man, we don't want to see you like this. Because she has so much like power and authority in this movie, and every man's trying to tell her that she shouldn't and that she's weaker than them. But she does okay for what everything going on. James is still there. He's just like narrating like, yeah, things got weird and they picked up. We did like a dance. There's like a dance number, but it's just a metaphor for like hooking up and having sex and stuff. Anyways, Jolly's freaking out because nobody likes what he just made, and like his whole life is over and he wants to die. And this 15-year-old is sitting across from him like, I think you're okay. I'd like to be in one of your pictures. And he's like, I can't even get laid. Like my own girl Queenie doesn't want to kiss me. And this child goes, you can kiss me if you want. So then Jolly goes in to kiss the child. Luckily, a grown adult man sees him doing this and says, what the fuck is your problem? Socks him in the face, and it turns into a big fight where people get hurt. People get hurt and they're injured, and everyone just ends badly. This escalates over a little bit of time, nothing major. It's like they wake up the next day because we had like the stupid brawl in the middle of the night. So they wake up, and then it's kind of implied that Dale and Queenie hooked up. So Jolly's freaking out that everything he had in life is over. He gets a gun, kills a bunch of people, including Dale and Queenie. Queenie dies from stray bullets and stuff. It's a huge mess, and Fatty Arbuckle adjacent. Can't help it. Can't help it. That's just how these things go. It ends kind of like Gatsby style, where it's like he had everything and he lost it because of a woman, and you're like, whatever. It's just a changing of Hollywood, and this guy, we don't know what to do with this guy anymore. Like this type of guy, you're only funny when no one's listening to you talk. It is such a weird movie. It is not worth investigating. But if you're interested in like a kind of serious take on this era of Hollywood, then maybe there's something there, but not a lot. You know, it's kind of fake and obvious, and the narration is weird and like the storyline is weird and everyone's telling this guy he's important, but we don't really see that he matters and stuff. It's just so weird. And the ending is just so much like a tragedy and like a play. It's trying to be like so over the top of people just die and that's all that happens to them, which some people might like. I don't. And this movie, well, it's about something I like, isn't the best interpretation of this thing I like. Go watch Babylon again. I know it's twice the length, but it's better. That is The Wild Party. Go read the poem and tell me what you think. If not, thank you for watching this episode of Dramatic Tales. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.